My name is Philip Bogden. I teach in Corey. I'm also the director of the Masters of Science in Data Science. The thing that I enjoy about data science is working with people in disciplines other than my own. And very often you'll find that people have data, they've been collecting data, they don't know what to do with it, they don't know how to analyze it, they don't even sometimes know how to look at it. What I'd like to do today is show you a collaboration that I have ongoing with some cancer specialists where I help them look at their data. What they've noticed is that depending on the amount of uncertainty in their prognosis, patients behave differently. For patients that have a very aggressive cancer and where their life is at risk and their future is very uncertain, uncertainty in the prognosis can actually have a beneficial effect. It can create a feeling of hope. For patients that actually responded very well to the treatment and may be in remission, if there's uncertainty associated with their future, that can create worry and that can create anxiety. And so the feeling of hope can be beneficial. The feeling of anxiety and worry can have detrimental effects. If they can understand the impact and understand how that works, then they can help keep patients informed in a way that improves their outcomes. The physicians were sharing data with Excel files that they were using as attachments and trying to communicate on Zoom calls. And I said it would be fairly easy for me to take your data and develop a display, an interactive display, so that you can actually explore your data and get a better idea of what's going on. It'll help inform the dialogue when you get together for these meetings. This is the website. It's called the Uncertainty Project. There were two key findings. In this particular plot, it shows gender dependence for a variety of different questions. In D4, the question is, I feel scared about my future, yes or no, and the degree to which you feel scared about your future. What they found is that there's a strong gender dependence. Females responded higher than males on the Likert scale from 0 to 4, meaning 4 full agreement. So this particular feature right here popped out, looks statistically significant, and is something that deserves further study. There's another finding. The finding here is that there's a strong increasing stair-step dependence on ECOG. ECOG is well-being in 4 of the 6 question groups. So I've created an animation cycling through different groups of questions. And so you can see this increasing stair-step consistent in responses to all the different questions with minor exceptions. That's a remarkable finding. The patients that are suffering poorly are responding with a higher score in these question groupings. There's also a strong stair-step dependence in the Hurth-Hope Index, another category of question. In this case, it's decreasing, with the exception of D4 in this case. And D4, the phrasing of the question was designed specifically to invert the response. And so this was constructed to be verification that their questions are actually producing information that's consistent. But this kind of visualization, exploring the data, these are some of the most important findings in the study. This display is easy for them to use, easy for them to understand because they created the questions. And anytime they have time to think about it, anytime they have a few minutes, they can just sit there and start playing with the data. And we'd come back and have our monthly meetings and they'd say, did you notice that blah, 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 blah. By making this application openly accessible, they want readers of the scientific literature and the scientific publications that they create to come to this website, explore the data themselves, and perhaps develop their own novel hypotheses. In a sense, we would be providing and recruiting readers as virtual co-investigators. And with data science, the most rewarding experience you can have is when somebody has all this data, they're not sure what's there, they're unable to analyze it, and you can just shed a light on what value there is in their data. And in this case, I'm working with clinicians who spend most of their time saving lives. They have created this research project because they want to improve the outcomes of their patients. They're not used to analyzing data, but they really want to see the benefits of this process. And To think that I'm actually helping MDs and clinicians improve the outcomes for their patients, it's very rewarding. This is an interdisciplinary application. It's me working with clinicians. If you're interested in interdisciplinary science and working across disciplines, the experiential opportunities at Northeastern are where you want to be.